Well, Cage, tragic news. 22-year-old Travis Tuck is the first AFL player to face the 3-strike sanction. How do you see it, Cage?
Well, disappointing, you're right, and that wouldn't be a record that anybody would like to have, to be the first AFL player to have 3 strikes and you're out. Look, I think the AFL have to take a long, hard look at their drug policy. I think 3 strikes is too many. I think 2 is plenty. Everybody, in my view, is entitled to a second chance. And the other thing that astounds me with their drug situation is that only 2 people, when a player is tested positive first and the second time, only 2 people are told about it. That's the club doctor and the medical commissioner of the AFL. Surely to goodness, surely the parents of the player that tests positive should be notified.
Yeah,
surely.
look, I'm with you, Cage. I think the parents need to be told, unless, of course, the parents aren't in a supportive situation. So, unfortunately, sometimes in families, the parents aren't supportive. So, I've come up from another tack. I think after he's found guilty on the first strike, we know that the AFL medical commissioner knows, we know that the doctor knows. I think the player then has to nominate 4 people that will be brought in with him and form the support group around him. He can have more than 4, but there's a minimum of 4 people. Now, 2 could be his parents, or it might be a single parent. If he's not in a good relationship with his parents, then it's the 4 people that will help him recover. And I just think the parents should know if they're the supportive kind. If they're not, then the player's got to nominate the 4 people that he thinks.
I'm for the parents being advised.
But what if it's a bad parent?
Well,
what if one of the parents is a drug dealer?
Well, you don't do it then. That's obvious. That's common. That goes without saying. But I also believe that the club should be notified as well, even after the first strike, because that's where he spends the second most of his day, or time of the day, at the club. And I reckon the coach should know too. Like, he's training the bloke. Surely he should be aware that this young man has tested positive.
Well, look, I coming from a coaching background, I think the coach should know. But some coaches, will that cloud his decision on selection? Will that mess with the coach? But I mean, the coach has to train him. Surely he needs to know. There have been cases in the United States, Cage, where coaches haven't known some of the things that have been going on with the players. Then, of course, something tragic happens and the coaches are sued. So in this case, just hypothetically, an AFL player doesn't tell, well, the coach doesn't know, he's training him hard and he collapses. Do we start to see legal action come into it?
Exactly.
It opens up Pandora's box.
That's why the club and the coach should know about it. I'm all for the club doctor, for the parents and the AFL medical commissioner, because he's obviously the one that's got to arrange the counselling and testing for the young man. So I just think they need to revisit their drug policy. I think they will. I think there are areas of it which are good, but I think 3 strikes is too many.
All right, you're against the 3 strikes, so what are you suggesting for your 2 strikes, Cage, or your 1 strike?
And I don't think the penalty is anywhere near severe enough. I think if a player tests positive for the second time for drug use, then I think 12 months to 18 months out. See you later.
You're more generous than me. I think for the first time, Cage, you're suspended for 12 weeks, and you can't come back until the counselling people say you're ready to go. So 12 weeks is the minimum. Second offence, it's over. You won't play football again. Anywhere. You won't play amateur footy, won't play any footy.
Yeah, I just think that's a bit hard. I reckon...
Well, what's the deterrent, Cage? 3 strikes hasn't been a deterrent.
Well, you're right, and that's why the penalty is not strong enough. But I just think life after the second time is a bit...
well, I know we want to be compassionate, but then we say, OK, well then your AFL career's over. Your AFL career is over. You can play amateur footy, you can play VFL, you can play SANFL, you can play in the waffle.
And I just think...
Get caught in one of those leagues and then your career clearly has to be over. That would be your 3rd strike in football.
Well, 3rd strike now, they get, 12 to 18 weeks. That's ridiculous.
I know we want to be compassionate, but I'm just wondering,
I just think
what are the deterrents? And maybe we need to be better educated, but I'm thinking the deterrent is always a good one.
Well, I wouldn't be quite as strong as you, General, but look, I think the penalties have to be a lot stronger than that at the present moment. Look, I feel sorry for young Travis Tuck. I really do.
I feel sorry for him and his family.
Exactly. You imagine what his father, Michael Tuck, one of the all-time great players, and his wife, and
what about his brother Shane playing with Richmond? So everyone will be at him now saying what's going on.
It just tarnishes the whole family. I think that's terribly
Maybe a little bit deeper than that too, Cage, because obviously it appears he suffers from depression as well, which is just a horrific
Look, every case has to be judged on its merits. There's no 2 ways about that, but I think the overall situation now, there's areas of their policy I think they should revisit. All
right, Nathan Cracker, Cage, he said he's off to the Gold Coast.
Yeah, surprise.
Is that a loss to the Power?
not in the frame of mind that he was in. No, I saw him play on a couple of occasions, and young Nathan Craig, obviously he can play, but he gave me the impression he didn't want to be at Port Adelaide. He wasn't happy. His body language was very, very ordinary, and I'm not surprised he's gone.
In saying that, Coach, what if a player's got a 2-year contract? He comes in and says to you as coach, look, it's just not working for you, it's not working for me, I'm not happy here, but he's one of your better players. Do you let him go, or do you try and hold on to him?
No,
I mean, if you've done everything you can to hold on to him and clearly he's not happy, is it time to say, well, we have to broker a deal?
Well, if it gets to that situation where he's clearly not happy and he's clearly not performing because of that situation, then I think it's probably beneficial for both the player and the club to work out an agreement. You'd have to work your way through. You'd have to make every effort to make the player happy and produce his best if he's a good player. But if all that fails, then I think it's best for the club and the player park company. Common sense should provide.